Oh, there's someone on YouTube as well. Hey, yo, so what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Lisa, how's it going? How are y'all doing? What's up, Wally? What's up, boy? How are you today? Bridger, hey, much love, homie. I appreciate you showing up, bro. Today we're gonna get into some crazy stuff, so don't click out. You don't want to leave. We're gonna talk about some pretty wild topics today that I think you all should hear. I just wanted to remind everybody that on the 4th of July, which is tomorrow, is the last day that I'm taking entries for my logo drawing contest. You could win $50. Basically, you just send your logo over to trip_drip at iCloud.com. I want the words trip over drip stacked on top of each other, and then you could just put whatever hippie mushroom vibes you wanted to put up in there. Hey, Christian, I love you, bro. I appreciate you every weekend being here, bro. I see you guys. I watch you guys from afar on social media. We might not talk every day, but I watch you. And if I seen anything that I had a problem with or that didn't make me happy, because I could see that both of you were happy, I want you to know that I love you enough that I would say something. But I honestly just think that you guys are perfect for each other, bro. Christian, you're way better off with her than you were the last one. Sanchizo, what's up, bro? What's up? What's up? What's up? We're trying to just get a couple more motherfuckers up in here so we can talk about some wild ass shit. Today we're going to go a little bit deeper into some conspiracies, just beside and things that have happened besides just the stuff that is happening day to day in the world. The last few ones we've talked a lot about stuff that's happened like the day to day in the current reality we lived in. We're going to give you a little bit of backstory. If we're going to time travel a little bit back into the day and go over some stuff that actually happened that has influenced what has happened now. But if everybody that's up in here, you already know that I'm a Juice World fan. If y'all could just put 999 in the comments and let me know that you're here. As soon as I get 6 or 7 or 8 more people, I'll go ahead and just start the conversation. Mike, I miss you, bro. We've known each other for like 25 years, bro. 20 years at least, bro. And you've always been a family to me, bro. I've always loved you since day one. We've been inseparable, bro. And I can't wait to go camping with you, G. We're going to talk about some crazy stuff. Because I don't know if y'all know, but at least in my reality, every single person thinks I'm absolutely crazy. Every single person has some funny ass shit to say about some shit that I say, Like, for example, just this week in my break room at my full time, my dreads are looking sick. Oh, bro, I'm not dreadlock Rasta. But oh, if you don't all know, just know that the dreads have some spiritual meaning to me. November of 2021, my daughter passed away, and her name was Marley. We were naming her after Bob Marley because I wanted to raise a very positive and energetic human. And when she passed away, I made a promise to the universe that in tribute to her, just like Bob Marley, I would grow dreads, and I'm going to grow these dreads to the floor, that I'm never cutting my hair again. And I made that promise to the universe that that's how I'm going to remember my daughter day to day and for the rest of my life. But anyways, that beard looks fresh. I know. Paulina Barrios, she's on my page. She's a cold ass barber. She's my homegirl, so lucky I get the hookup. But to be honest with you, she fades me up, cleans me up. And shout out to Paulina. We call her Pinto Bean up in this motherfucker. You heard me? But no. So today we're gonna get into some crazy stuff because some crazy stuff has happened in my life to spark these conversations. I feel like sometimes life can get kind of crazy and cause a lot of anxiety if you're trying to just keep up with all the crazy stuff that's happening in 2023 and the programming that's being shoved down all of our faces. Now, granted, I don't think that I'm necessarily being programmed or any of you are being programmed, but I do understand that there are probably some things that I think that or I interpret to be true things that could possibly be fake or could be misinformation. And maybe just I was hit with this information from a bunch of different angles and it was convincing in the way that it was displayed to me. So by all means, I'm not Ace. What's up, boy? How's it going, Sincere King? I appreciate you showing up, G. But so I don't necessarily think that everything that I talk about and all the stuff that I want all the humans around me to know, maybe some of them aren't true. For like example, flat Earth, round Earth. I've always known about round Earth and space. Since I started hearing about flat Earth, there's a lot of actual evidence that makes me think that it could be true. So I'm kind of in the middle. I'm kind of back and forth because the stuff about round earth is really interesting, and the evidence that they give you is really convincing because the pictures look so real. But then I've heard all of these things about flat earth and ancient maps and Admiral Byrd, and that there's a government department that has went to Antarctica and said that no humans allowed to go there without security clearance. So there's just a lot of stuff that, well, because I don't believe necessarily or trust the government that I live in, so automatically I just don't think when the American government went to Antarctica and them and a bunch of other countries decided, you know what, whatever's down here is so crazy, we don't want anyone coming here without us knowing, and so no one is allowed to go to Antarctica without like a permit, or you have to like apply for it and get all these certifications to be able to go there. There are scientists that go there, and then there's like NDAs where you're not allowed to say certain things, or if you do, this could happen. And then I mean, you already know if you make a promise to the government that you're going to do something, chances are they're going to make you do it. So if it's something as crazy as not talking about something you shouldn't be talking about, you never know that maybe you disappearing and then being the influence could be the thing. Yeah, so we have been live from you are right. I do agree, Lisa Nelson, for saying that. Sean, what's up? Haley Keith, how's it going? So we have been lied to a lot of times, and I mean, as you continue to watch my content, you'll learn more and more and more about the lies that you may not already know. And to be honest, some of you guys might even know more than what I'm talking about. But honestly, what I wanted to get in today is something called Operation Paperclip. This is a real CIA operation the documents were declassified and put on the internet on their website. You can go look this up. There's lots of information about Operation Paperclip. So and to be honest, I could be wrong even about Paperclip. There's so many covert secret operations, that's been declassified. The operation, the Gateway Project, where the United States government put billions and billions of dollars into figuring out that we are conscious beings and astral projection is real, and the power of our consciousness, that's real. That's all real. So there's lots of operations and all these crazy projects that they have, and they have all these weird code names. So Operation Paperclip might not be true. If you could fact check that for me about about World War II, et cetera, et cetera. But anyways, Operation Paperclip. We went to World War II. Why we go to World War II? Everybody knows why we went to World War II. There was one evil person on planet Earth that wanted to take over the world for his race, and he did lots of inhumane things to lots of people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, not a lot of people know actually that before a lot of stuff happened, that the United States government was actually funding that person. They were actually sending military weapons to that person, and it wasn't until that person had done something that we said not to do, and then he did that thing, and then we were like, okay, we're going to go to war with him. We were already preoccupied in Hawaii about Hawaii being attacked by Japan. We were already preoccupied about that. We've been funding this side and worried about this side, and we went and nuked these guys, and they did something that they weren't supposed to do, and then so we turned over to that way. But when we went there, and obviously we all know who won World War II. I mean, you all know who's won a lot of wars, because for the country we live in, where it seems like we're in war all the time, that there's the information that they give us just seems to be that we're never safe. There's just lots of problems going on around the world. Like if y'all don't know what, oh yeah, I'm correct then. It is Operation Paperclip. Okay, if y'all don't know what's going on in France, basically what happened is a 17-year-old kid during a routine traffic stop, the law enforcement shot the kid, and the whole entire city rioted, and it's been going on for like 4 days. The rioters have fully automatic weapons. It's like a real civil war during all of this. Close the door, please. Thank you. And so Operation Paperclip. We went to World War II. Everything happened that it happened. And then when we went in to invade the country of Germany, we realized that they had a lot of things that were valuable to us. The things that were valuable to us was the information that they had, the artifacts, the technology, etc. Because if you don't know, Hitler was doing a lot of weird human experiments. He was like trying to explore the whole world and go throughout the whole world and find all these ancient, like super powerful weapons that are like supposedly like super power, like laser weapons and stuff. So America went over there and we decided, like America acts like we're just better than everyone because we have more money, so we can buy more stuff and buy more guns and et cetera, et cetera. So we just act like we're just ignorant fucking douchebags. And we go over there and we tell all these Nazi scientists that we're not gonna, you're not gonna go to prison, you're not gonna be in trouble for all of the fucked up, inhumane shit you did. Actually, we're gonna take like 1,300 scientists and we're just gonna bring you back to America, give you a new identity, and then we're just gonna employ you and you're gonna do the research for us. So 1,000 scientists came over to America from Germany, Nazis. If you don't believe me, go ahead and Google it. There's lots of pictures of presidents with known Nazis and people from the Third Reich that were in Germany, like von Braun, famous scientist that had a lot to do with space and the Apollo mission to the moon. He was a Nazi, or he was from Germany. Now, so everybody knows that. I'm not saying anything crazy. So that's why I don't care about talking about this on social media, because everybody knows that that's the truth. That's what happened. These people were from Germany and they came to America around this time. So y'all watch, I'm telling you what, there are some TV shows that I get completely obsessed with that are on Netflix. Netflix does some good ones. Hulu does some good ones. HBO does some good ones. But I ain't never seen anything like Stranger Things. If you watch Stranger Things, Amber Wright, what's up? How's it going? Jay Myers, what's up? Gray, I see you in here, boy. Thanks for showing up. Y'all watch Stranger Things? That fucking show is just like too weird and too abstract, but so familiar, You're like watching this thing and you could I feel like the way that the world was going and the way that the world has been, you can like really feel like that could possibly be true, because it actually is. It actually replicates a company that the American government had as a secret department called MK Ultra. MK Ultra is like a department where they brought all these German scientists over from Nazi Germany over here, and then they started doing weird experiments with humans, and they tried to unlock consciousness, and they used LSD as a truth serum. They were trying to figure out like mind control and how to like interrogation things that would help them be able to interrogate people more. It's really crazy. So with that being said, 11 could have been a real person, like this weird telekinetic, telepathic entity that was their consciousness was unlocked because they had the backing of the American government and all the American scientists to look at their brain and figure out exactly the correct amount of electrical neurons that needed to happen to make all this crazy stuff happen. Like this, all this stuff could have happened. I mean, I don't necessarily can't say that Stranger Things is based on a true story, but it kind of seems a little similar, like these weird scientists in this in the forest in the middle of nowhere. Nobody knows that it's there, and they're like doing weird experiments on your consciousness. That's crazy. Something I also wanted to talk about. Now, most of the time, I don't get political. I don't want to say that I'm on the left side or I'm the right side. No, I'm Trevor Hess, and I believe what I believe in. I don't identify with either group. There's some things about this side I believe in. There's some things about this side. And the person that I want to run this country is the person that can do it best and the person that actually gives a fuck about the people who live here. That's who I want to win. I don't care who it is. But there's a lot of things about the current person who runs the country. There's a lot of things about the person who used to run the country. And then there's this one person that actually, for some reason, sticks out to me. His name's Robert F. Kennedy. He is the nephew of John F. Kennedy, which was the president that got assassinated, that later found out that there were declassified documents that came out that the CIA and the FBI did have direct ties to kill JFK. And then there's lots of stuff proving that the CIA and the FBI killed Robert F. Kennedy's dad, and now the son is running for president. Okay, he talks about a lot of good stuff. If you haven't heard anything, just every human, I just peep what he's saying. We know what Trump wants. We know what fucking the geriatric motherfucker that can't talk or walk or know where he's at or anything. We know what he's about. But this other person, he's like saying some stuff that's He's saying some stuff that's not normal for a politician to say. But one thing he said that I don't want to talk about really everything else, but the one thing he said, because it means something to me, is he said that he wants to completely legalize cannabis. He wants to completely federally legalize it and allow every single state to decide whether and what their rules and regulations are. But it once becomes a federally legal, obviously you already know, just like everything else, it gets federally taxed. But he's talking about taking that federal tax money and building recovery centers for people with addiction so we can actually fight this epidemic in our country of people who are strung out. Oh yeah, you're right, Chantel. That RFK and Joe Rogan episode, fire. So yeah, he actually has like this weird neurological disease that affects his voice box, and so his voice trembles. He's talked about it a few times. You're right. It's kind of difficult to understand what he's saying, but if after you've listened for a minute, you kind of just understand that he's disabled and you hear it. But he talks a lot about wanting to actually completely legalize psychedelics. He talks about being in recovery himself for 40 years. I'm a recovering addict and I know how hard it is to go through addiction. Don't you think that people in this country should have somebody who kind of has an understanding of what it's like to be an addict so that maybe all of our friends and family that were worried about so much just dying at any time because they could OD get some actual help? That's what I want. This is the first president that's actually talked about the recovery community that I've heard. I got lots of friends that died from addiction, and the government never really gave a fuck about them. Just lock them up and then put them in some crazy restrictive, crazy expensive treatment program that teaches you to identify feelings. Just kind of off the subject, this guy named Bill, who wrote the book AA, he's a co-founder of AA. He has talked multiple times about the only reason he got sober is because of an LSD trip. I just want all of you to know that. It's all over Google. You don't. If you guys watch me, you guys obviously probably believe what I'm saying is true. I don't talk about stuff that I don't know that it's actual fact. There are some things I'm sure I make mistakes, but most of the time I'm pretty sure that I really research this stuff before I talk about it. But he said he wants to legalize psychedelics because he firsthand has witnessed the miraculous power of their healing. It is true. I firmly believe that there is nothing outside that a human could take or do that will heal the inside. The human inside has to want to heal the inside. And most of us, like I was for a very long time, were too fucking scared to want to heal the inside. Most of us don't want to face the demons that we have to deal with because we know we've done a lot of fucked up shit and we've hurt a lot of people. We've done a lot of things we aren't proud of. And that shit's scary to even talk about to someone because you don't want them to think differently of you, let alone, hey, Peyton, I appreciate you showing up. Boy, I love you. But a lot of us don't want to face the past. Do you know what it is for me that got me sober? Mind you, some of you know, some of you might know, but I was an addict for a very long time, suffered from addiction from a very young age, literally slept on the street in downtown Salt Lake and begged for money for narcotics, not food, didn't take care of myself. I was all the way at the very bottom. And the thing that's most important about that is self-love, really. Really, the thing about addiction is that people don't really love themselves. If they really love themselves, then, I love myself tremendously now. So do I eat healthy? Absolutely, I do. Do I try and do things that's good for my mental health? Absolutely, I do. So if I really love myself, do you think that I'm going to ingest a substance that I know is poison for me? Sure, I'm sure that happens. I'm sure that happens more times than I'm even actually giving credit for. But for the most part, I know for myself, someone who struggled with IV drugs for 20 years, that it wasn't until I loved myself that I could even comprehend and attempt to change my life. So now that there's this president that's like, you know what, I've actually been a recovering addict for 40 years and we're going to do something about this epidemic because no president's actually even given a fuck about fentanyl or the opiate problem we have, that literally every single person that is an addict. I worry for every one of them. Every time one of my friends who is in recovery, I find out that they relapse, I severely worry for them because even one time the stuff is so crazy and so laced with fentanyl, you could just die. There's fentanyl that's so strong that if the wind blows the bag and you smell some of it, you just overdose. There's lots of videos of that online. But anyways, something that I wanted to talk about is I've been seeing lots of this stuff online. What's up, Kaylee? How's it going? I appreciate you showing up. If any of y'all know me, y'all know that the things I'm saying about recovery are true because y'all know me as an addict. Y'all know, and you can see by the things that you see. Maybe you don't see me physically, but you see pictures of the things I talk about, that I'm not the same person I was when I was addicted. There's a monster caged inside of me that I have grown to be man enough to hold back and be the person that I was meant to be, even though there's a monster inside. For a long time, I was immature and wasn't able to control that monster. And obviously, if you've known me for a very long time, that monster just ran rampant and just hurt tons of people. And now I have to deal with the guilt because I allowed that monster to run rampant. But something that is crazy. This stuff actually started a while ago. I was wanting to talk about Operation Paperclip and the stuff that happened with all of that stuff, honestly, because it kind of leads into what potentially this type of science could be. Sorry, I'm really stoned, so I have cotton mouth really bad. But you guys ever heard and or seen anything compelling about time travelers? If you watch social media, Reels, TikTok, and if you're on that side of TikTok, you might see some time traveler stuff. You guys, if you guys didn't, if you're not on the side of TikTok that I'm on, and you've seen my TikTok feed, I don't know what would happen to you. You probably would be baffled by the stuff that information type stuff that comes across me, because it's like all about literally anything. Because I am a conspiracy theorist, and like I said, my pronouns are "told you so," because there are lots of things that we found out are right. Oh, we were crazy for a long time, but all the things you said we were crazy for turned out to be right. But so for one, it started like about 6 or 7 months ago. I went over to my friend's house. We were just chilling, catching up. We hadn't seen each other for a little while. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, have you heard about this guy on TikTok that woke up and everyone was gone?" He's like, must have like time traveled or something, and everybody was gone. He was in a time period where there was nobody. And his TikTok, he was like filming and like walking through very, very busy places, like the airport in New York. That's a very busy place. And he was walking through this airport and there were no humans. He was doing all of this stuff, going to all these places, no humans, no nothing. He's like, day one, he would record a bunch of videos. And then day two, and he was like, got up to like many, many months where he's like, day 240, there's still no people. And he's just like walking around and there's no one there. So there's lots of things about that was the moment where I was like, man, dang, maybe time travel is crazy. Like some Terminator stuff where someone's like coming back from a later time because this is the time period where one single choice determines the humanity or whatever. We've all seen the movies. So, I mean, if we see in the movies, somebody's thought of it. And if somebody's thought of it, it could possibly be true. So there's a lot of crazy pictures that float around the internet about time traveler stuff, like there's this picture all over the internet. Look up Mike Tyson time traveler. The picture I'm talking about will pull up right up. Supposedly at a Mike Tyson fight, in 1990s, between 2000s and in between there's a picture of the fight, and in the crowd back in the background, there's someone holding up an iPhone. I mean, it looks exactly like an iPhone. I mean, maybe there was photoshopped, but to me, it doesn't really look like it. Maybe it is. We obviously don't know if time travel is real, so I can't say that it's real. But it looks really real. There's lots of pictures. If you were to look up all the time traveler stuff, just like proof of time travelers, you'll see all sorts of stuff, and you can determine it on yourself. And from what I've seen, some of the evidence is compelling if I'm not being faked by an AI, which could be possible. But so there's lots of stuff about time travelers. There's this guy currently right now that's like trending about this guy from 3036 that they ran his DNA, and he's like talking about all this stuff, all this crazy stuff that we don't know really anything about. And they like take his blood and run his DNA, and it comes back like 0% of every single ethnicity on the planet. Basically, that his DNA doesn't match any person ever, whoever's had their DNA tested. Now, you're right. This is TikTok. We've come to see that there's like music videos coming out where like people can change their faces, like the Kendrick Lamar video. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a Kendrick Lamar video where he's like rapping, and the whole time he's rapping, his face changes to Kobe Bryant, like all sorts of different people. And it looks really realistic. You know, it looks possibly when the face changes, it looks like that person, but they're saying the words that they're saying, you know, etc. So you never know really, because now with the power of AI, you know, there's websites where you can where you can just type in all sorts of stuff, say, uh, draw me a picture in the art style like Picasso of a bear doing a double backflip off of a yacht that has a blue and white diving board, and it will give you hundreds of different versions of that. Like it's getting pretty crazy. And if you haven't messed around with Chat GPT, I recommend you just try it and just figure it out and look at it, because it's quite impressive what it can do. But so honestly, what I also wanted to talk about is I think that it's important for me to reassure the people that watch me, that to let them know that I'm also human. I might be promoting and talking about a lot of crazy stuff, and I might, you know, never talk about it. But I feel like I want everybody to know that I struggle too. That it's okay to be not. It's okay not to be okay. You know, sometimes everybody goes through ups and downs. Everybody struggles. Everybody has problems up in here. Everybody has trauma that they've went through. Everybody is different when they regulate emotions. Some people are more logical, some people are more analytical. So everybody's different, but I want all my people who watch me and who will watch me after I post this video and will continue to watch me in the future, and people that are coming soon, that I will continue always to let you guys know that I'm human as well. I have lots of issues, you know. Uh, and I think that what's different recently about having these issues and these stresses inside my body and the things I'm going through is that I continuously just promote positivity. And so because I promote positivity, I get a lot of stuff on my feeds that are positive. Obviously, I'm not just like creating these things that I'm promoting, as I'm seeing something that impacts me and I'm like, wow, I want people to see that. And so I post it. And so I'm grateful that in this current time period where I'm at, there's lots and lots of stuff that's positive on my feed. And sometimes, you know, I might feel like, dang, the universe is really looking out for me, because that for some reason that hit home, that hit hard. And I hope that I can do that with the content that I put, you know. Uh, I'm not necessarily trying to always be conspiracies. I'm not always trying to talk about aliens. I really just want all the people who watch me to just be a fucking human and just care about life and just things, and you know, just remember what it feels like, how good it feels when you're honest and shit, you know, and like how good it feels to just like go out of your way and help somebody one time that they didn't expect it, you know, how good it feels when someone walks up to you and gives you a compliment. So why aren't you complimenting people? You know, there's a friend of mine that I have that I work with, and I feel like we're friends because I realized that he didn't really have any friends at the workplace, and I went out of my way to befriend him because I could see he didn't have any friends. And guess what? I really like that guy. If I would have never done that, I would have missed out on this relationship that I actually enjoy. That I actually enjoy our conversations, and it's because all I do is everywhere I go, I'm just friendly to everybody. I'm nice to everybody. Now, don't get it fucked up. If you piss me off, I'll let you know you piss me off. But for the most part, I'm not mad. And I realize, like, when I go to work and when I'm at home, that there's two different things. And when I'm with my kids, I don't need to think about work. And when I go to work, I try my best every day not to bring any of my bullshit to work. So then I can just actually be at work and be what I'm there for, and not because and I was in a position of leadership, and I had people that I were under me, and I don't want to come across as a douchebag because I had a bad day, or because I work graveyards and I only got 3 hours of sleep, because when I got home the night before in the morning at 6 a.m., my son had a meltdown that kept me awake until 9 o'clock. And then I woke up at 1, and then I'm going to work. How is that fair that I treat everybody different? Hell yeah, I wake up every day, be conscious enough to do something different, study, learn more, help someone, ask questions. I mean, to be honest, bro, if you're living in 2023 right now and you're not asking questions, you're fucking asleep. You're a rock, a sheep. Y'all should be asking questions about everything you see, because everything we're seeing is so fucking crazy. How could you not have questions? Like, how could you not have questions that the person currently in charge isn't being criminally charged for the things that he did, when the person that used to be in charge is getting criminally charged for the same things that this dude is doing? And this dude is doing a whole bunch of fucked up more shit. This dude sold us out to a different country and nothing has fucking happened. But this dude talked one time about something he shouldn't have talked about. And this guy's trying to put this guy in prison forever. You know, if you can't just look at that one thing and say, whoa, something's fucked up right now, and then question all the other stuff, I'm sorry. I pray for you, and I hope that you continue to watch me so I can enlighten you on a bunch of shit. You know, the reason I started talking about all of this stuff is because I started learning all of this stuff and really paying attention to everything. And then I started getting worried for me and everyone else. Everyone needs to know this stuff. You ever remember when you were a little kid and you would say something about not wanting to ask a stupid question? And there's that phrase that there's no stupid question. The only stupid question is the one that's not asked. Like, you don't ever remember your teachers encouraging you to ask questions. You know, that curiosity is a good thing. And then all of a sudden we become adults and we get comfortable because we've become creatures of habit that do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. So then it just becomes normal. And then we just don't ever pay attention because we're just normally living and nobody asks anything anymore. You know, nobody pays attention to the things that are happening because it's just life. You just go through it. And then it gets to the point where a lot of people aren't paying attention. And now we're in 2023 and you can see the fucked up shit that's happening, right? Y'all can see it, right? Maybe not all of you can, you know, because I do have those certain friends that I feel like I need to restrict myself to talk to them because they don't want to hear the stuff that I want to talk about because they just haven't been paying attention to it because it causes them anxiety. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But by all means, boo-boo, take care of yourself. If you don't want anxiety, I wouldn't want you to have anxiety, so I appreciate you telling me not to talk about it. Because what happens is when you start really paying attention to the things that are happening, you better be fucking worried. We never lived in a time period like this. Did you know that there was a teacher in Texas that got fired for teaching the scientific anatomy of how birth works and the gender selection works? And he got fired for teaching what science has thought for a long time because of the stuff that's being pushed on all of us and all of our children. Did you know that? Texas University fired for teaching science. Did you know that there was a cancer foundation in the United Kingdom just this last week that in order to appease a certain group of people who think they are what they're not, they decided that they're going to call the woman's parts the bonus hole to not offend those people who don't identify as what they are. A bonus hole, like it's like a extra point, you know, like it's just like there for pleasure, not any purpose. It's like it doesn't really matter. It's like it could be used or it not could be used. But isn't that something that's actually needed for humanity to even become what it's become? Like people not realize that women are like more powerful than even men are. Men might be physically strong, but women have like the fucking portal to the spirit realm in their body. They like create everything. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like they have the power to create life. I don't got that. And what I know about me and my consciousness and what the things I'm able to do and the things I've understood, women are way more powerful than me. That's why do you think men instinctively have this instinct to protect women? Is because if the queen ran the world, who would protect her? A bunch of dudes. You know, a bunch of dudes would have swords and protect this all-powerful woman. I don't know if you guys seen Game of Thrones, but that Targaryen chick, she had a whole fuck ton of dudes that were willing to die for her, and she was powerful as shit. They're very, very powerful beings. Now, men are also powerful too. You're right. And now we're being like brainwashed to think that I know it's just weird, you know. I actually had to have this conversation with one of my kids this week about this whole sexuality and gender thing that's happening. And it's a really interesting conversation when I have to explain to my kids about the birds and the bees and then the bees and the birds, and then the birds that like birds, and the birds that are bees, and then the bees that think they're birds, and then the birds that think they're squirrels. It's really confusing to teach all of that stuff to my children. You know, why is my young son asking me about that stuff? What do I say? Do I lie to him like every parent in America does, lie to their kids about Santa Claus? Is it going to become one of those things, you know? Or do I tell him the truth? I'm put in a position like, gosh, this is a really deep conversation. You 8-year-old human that's asking me this. Holy shit! What do I say? Because I mean, it's something important that he should know. Do I give him my biased opinion, or do I just give him facts and let him interpret it? So I don't lie to my children. So I give him facts and I let him interpret it. Obviously, it's in a way that an 8-year-old can understand, and obviously not graphic or inappropriate, but it's, I mean, the best way that I could explain it. Why is my kindergarten son coming home from school and telling me about his gay friend? Like, what the fuck? That's weird. 5 years old? And they're just like openly talking about it to where all the kids just know that this kid is gay. That's weird to me. I don't know how to deal with that, because I'm from a different time where that didn't happen that time, you know. It's hard for me to deal with. Parenting's hard. Y'all parents, that's just hard. It doesn't come with no instruction manual. And even if there was, it wouldn't fucking matter, because you just never know what the kid's gonna do next. Some of the craziest stuff kids say. But yeah, life's good, actually. You know, I'm currently in a weird time in my life. I'm trying to like do this whole internet stuff. I'm trying to create content because I care about humans. I want humanity to survive. I don't want there to be war and people just die. I want people to start loving other people, even if you don't know them, just so everything can become positive and I can feel safe raising my kids in this world. Just like all parents want, right? We just want our kids to be safe. Well, the way that the world's going, sometimes I don't feel like the world is safe for my kids. So it makes me change the way I would normally parent because of the things that I'm seeing. I want to protect them. But I create all this content. I work 2 jobs. Life is always on the go, 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 go for me, at least. And sometimes I find it difficult to balance things, you know. I find it difficult to fulfill my needs as well as fulfill the needs of my loved ones, because I know that all of my loved ones, there is some portion of need in them for me. You know, there's some sort of love they have for me, and sometimes they need me. And so sometimes, whether what I want to do or whatever, it doesn't matter. Sometimes I need to do and be present because they need me, not that I want to do it. And so I find a really hard balance. Julie, how's it going? I appreciate you showing up. Hey, Eric, what's up? Rhonda Price, how's it going? So yeah, it's just hard to do, you know. It's hard to like do all the things that I'm doing. I'm trying to create this content because eventually I want to get to the point where maybe I can make a little pocket change doing it. You know, maybe I want to get to the point where maybe, you know, I get paid for something I like to do. And maybe I want to get to the point where I get popular enough that I can talk to some really fucking cool people. Not saying that the people that I would talk to when I'm not popular aren't cool, but I mean, if I want to talk to fucking Post Malone, that would be cool as shit. Chances are, unless I get popular and I do this thing and I put in work and I stop being a pussy and play video games all the time and I actually do the things that I want instead of just fill my time with fucking pointless ass shit, I'm never going to get where I want to get. And so I've been going through this transition where I have mental warfare with myself, because for a long time in my free time, the way I had me time is I would play my PlayStation and I would do it and I would just play and just play and just play. And I enjoyed it. And like, I'm going through this mental warfare where I want to play video games. But at the same time, while I'm playing video games, I'm talking to myself like, bro, you should be making a YouTube video. You should be making some clips you could put on TikTok, bro. Bro, you're never going to get where you want to get if you don't put in the work. But I'm like exhausted because I just worked 70 hours this week and I just want to just lay and do nothing. But I just got this itch inside of my head to just come on, bro, let's go. Get up, get off your ass. Stop being lazy, bro. So I've just been going through this weird transition, and this is all happening when this whole weird Earth frequency thing is happening. Marissa, what's up? Hey, what's up, girl? I appreciate you showing up. This whole weird Earth frequency was happening, and on top of that, I mean, I talked about it last week. If you don't know, the Earth's frequency that's been the same since the beginning of time just recently changed, and then the federal government and NASA actually deleted all that information and said we were wrong. It was an error. I don't know if you know that, but that's what they said, that it was an actual error. They're trying to take back what they're saying because they know that the vibration planet Earth changing is going to change everything. We're in a period called the Great Awakening. Never before in history have we been in America where there's a very high population that knows that everything that the MSM teaches us is bullshit. Mainstream media, MSM. Everybody knows that, So we're in a time period where things are starting to change, But I can't do it myself. I want change. Me, this lonely peasant that in the grand scheme of things, this lonely peasant that has committed crimes most of his life, used addictive drugs most of his life. No one's going to listen to me. I could go in front of some open mic city council and they're going to take one look at me and no one's really going to look at me. But I got a lot of shit to say. And the only way that I can get heard is if I get a bunch of you motherfuckers to want to hear me. And sure, not everybody I'm going to talk to is going to even fuck with the shit I say. Not everybody that I talk to, and someone might come onto a live and listen for a few minutes and not really care and then never watch me again. But they don't unfollow me, so they're just still a follower. But there are some motherfuckers out there that I know that really feel what I'm saying and they hear what I said. You might not like the words that I said, but I know a lot of y'all felt that shit. A lot of y'all can feel some of it. I mean, I at least if that's not the case, I'm wrong. We all know, we all can see, and the things we hear. And if you're on social media, it doesn't matter. You're going to see some shit. Shit's crazy right now. Stuff's going crazy. And what really started all of this stuff is this crazy stuff started happening. And then I started fearing for myself and my family and my tribe and the people I hold dear to me. And then I started fearing for all of the humanity and every single human that has a right to live on this earth and do the things they do and be equal with everybody else. And because of their choices, they're just put in a position where they have no control over what the people who run the country, whether we go to war and lots of us die and all that stuff, we don't have any control of that. We're in a position where unless you're extremely wealthy, you have no control over shit, really, what's going on. You're just living through it. We're just living through what's happening in the southern border. We're just living through the pandemic. We're just living through our current leader's 4-year presidency. We'll just have to live through this stuff because we don't really have any say or control unless you want to just pack up and leave everybody you ever loved and leave the country. Trust me, I thought about that a lot. And to be honest, I would be down. My lady won't be down. My kids won't be down. And I mean, unless things got very, very scary, I mean, there wouldn't be a point where I forced them. If things got very scary, absolutely, I could care less whether you guys have feelings or not. If things are scary to where you could potentially be hurt or die, oh yeah, we're getting in our car and using all of our money to get as far away from this place as we can and drive 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 and drive. But it hasn't gotten to that point. I'm hoping to create this community of people who understand that, for one, hey Kevin, I appreciate you, bro. For one, people really need to realize the power you have inside of you. Everything you do and say and think about and eat, all of that stuff matters about the things about your avatar that your consciousness resides in. Your thoughts and your words are very powerful things. Why do you think like meditation and manifestation and all of these like mental health practices all deal with like either silencing your mind or saying things over and over again? It's because they're powerful. When I'm talking right now, not only are the sound waves going into this microphone, not only are going into my phone that's up here, but the sound waves are leaving this area and bouncing all over this stuff. Every time you make a sound, it just goes and 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 goes. It's making an impact, and it's changing physics for everything around it. That's why ancient religions, when they meditate, they make sounds, right? They make sound. It has power. So the things that you say and the things that you do and the things that you think mean something. That's why, I mean, if I don't know how many y'all are in here that are addicts, but all y'all heard the whole term negative self-talk, because that's what we do as addicts, and that perpetuates our addiction most of the time. And the reason it has power is because you continue to say these things to you. Now I'm going to do an experiment for the people that are watching. Shout out to KRS-One. This is where I learned this. So let's see here. I'm trying to find something. Let me think. Okay. We'll use this. So all of you that are watching this, y'all see what I'm doing right here. You know what this is? Y'all know what this is? This is Johnson's baby powder. You're right. I'm overweight. Sometimes I sweat. I got to toss that in the drawer so I don't get rug burn. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I have this. We don't got no babies. This is mine. But so it says Johnson's, right? You'll see that? Johnson's. Now, on the count of 3, I want all of y'all to say this, but not with your mouth. Okay? So 1, 2, 3. Let's do it one more time. Don't say nothing outside and just say this word. Ready? 1, Johnson's. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so with that being said, y'all said something without saying anything, right? You heard something up in here. So you heard yourself talking. Which is crazy also, because if you were to close your eyes, okay? If you guys look at this little blue raindrop, it says Johnson's, you know what I'm saying? And I take this away, and you guys want to see it again with your eyes closed, you could close your eyes and you could see it again, right? So you could speak without speaking, and you can see without seeing. You can think about things that have happened in the past, and sometimes you can really see them. And then you can look up into the future, and you can really see you driving that fancy car. You can really imagine it in your brain, living in that huge ass house. So you can see without seeing. You can hear without your ears, because you can hear yourself. You can see without seeing. It's and you can see in the past, and you can see in the future. So whatever's inside of here is not restricted by time, because time is a man-made thing. And if you're not restricted by time, you're a god, right? Right? You're not restricted by time at all. There's multiple dimensions, right? One dimension is one, 2 dimensions is this way and this way. 3 dimensions is this way, and this way and this way. The 4th dimension is you add time. But if you don't live by time, does that mean you get to the 5th and 6th and 7th dimension? Or if a 2-dimensional object is your shadow, right? You're the 3-dimensional object. So isn't it possible that you could be the 3rd-dimensional shadow of a 4th-dimensional being somewhere else? I mean, the things that you think about and how things work, right? How does that work? Unless you can, through meditation and like really working on your mental health, if you've really done that, you've almost, if you've ever been in a really dark place and you've just put in tons and tons of work and effort into changing your mental health, you overcame something a lot of people don't, right? So you trained this avatar to do the things that you want to do. That's power, right? I just feel like a lot of people don't really realize like the power you have inside of your body, and all of the power actually comes from the food that you ingest. The food that you ingest, it affects a lot of different things, but the one thing that it ingests is this thing right here. It's that all-powerful third eye. You heard me? Like this thing, this third eye. It's a magnet because my third eye's open. You know what I'm saying? Cool trick. Third eye's open. Put something metal up to your eye, up to your face. I'll wipe this all off so y'all know there ain't no sweat. My third eye's open, boy. Just touch it onto my forehead and it stays here. Put it on my hand. I mean, if I put it on my hand, it doesn't really work. Third eye's open. Anyways, a lot of the things that you eat and do have a lot of different effects. You know, you think about before let's say before corporate America, right? Humans lived for a very, very, very long time. For a very, very long time. Usually, I think that the lifespan back in the day was maybe the same, maybe a little longer, depending on disease. I mean, if you were in a wealthy area, you probably had there was probably less disease because dirt and filth and germs create more disease. But what did you eat? Let's go. Let's jet back 200 years ago. Okay, what did you eat? Really, wherever you were in the world, right? What did you eat? The only things you really could eat were fruit, nuts, vegetables, bread, some dairy products, meat because of the animals that were raised everywhere, fish, chicken, pastries. That's about it, right? There's nothing else like that. That's it, right? So 200 years ago, we didn't have sugar smacks. We didn't have them goddamn pudding cups. You know, we had none of this weird, just laboratory created stuff that humans are just like making in a laboratory and putting all these weird artificial sweeteners in it to make it taste good. And they make it taste good, and they put certain chemicals in it to trigger your dopamine inside your head to make it addictive. So that's why most of the time when humans are hungry and want to eat, it's actually your addiction to food. That's the first thing you become addicted to when you're born. The very first thing is food. You ever heard like the whole hand to mouth thing? Yeah, it's because you put your mouth on the breast that fed you, and you knew that's the only that you knew that thing made you happy. The baby, even though you didn't have like a whole extended consciousness, the baby knows that when I cry and when I'm sad, that thing is going to make me feel better. And it becomes an addiction from a very young age, and then we perpetuate on kids that you could just to eat this, eat this, eat this. I don't think really for most history humans didn't ever really eat as much as we eat now because food was scarce then. For the most part, unless you were wealthy, y'all might maybe eat a little bit in the morning and some dinner, and that's if you're a kid. There's probably been lots of dads and moms throughout all of history that didn't eat dinner at all because there wasn't enough food. But now that now at least in the geographical location I live in, there's plentiful food. There's so much food that you could just eat until you drop, and most of it's poison. Aspartame, you know, it's a very common artificial sweetener that's in most of your diet sodas and all your diet foods. Oh yeah, that's crazy. The CDC just came out last week and said, I guess it could cause cancer. It could have been causing cancer this whole time. Yep. You guys are y'all motherfuckers asleep? You know, you guys don't realize that y'all don't realize that we're just being poisoned. Do you know what I did this week? What happened last week is, you know, there's some regulatory department in our country that decided they could sell us weird lab grown meat that's not even actually an animal. They just grow it and create it. I immediately found a place where I can buy meat from a local farm that I know that is not all this weird stuff is happening, grass fed, open range, no hormones, all that stuff. You know what I mean? And that's the only place I'm going to eat meat now. Because now they're going to make these labels weird. We won't even be able to tell if it's real meat or weird fake meat. And then guess what? They can put whatever they want in the fake meat. The reason they can't put whatever they want in the meat now is because the stuff they want to put in there would kill the animal. So then they couldn't sell it, obviously. But guess what? If it's fake, we can put whatever we want in there. They will eat everything. Who owns most of the farmland in America? Yeah, that guy that created a computer software program and got very wealthy and had his hand right in the pot of the sickness that made everybody go inside their house And then he was also, his hand was in the pot for the fake medicine that they said would cure you from the sickness, that we found out that that medicine actually could kill you and is worse for you than the actual sickness. That guy, you know, Mr. Gates, the one that kicked it tough with Epstein. His wife divorced him because of his relationship with Epstein. Those boys were homies, you know what I'm saying? All the time they were kicking it, flying back and forth. That's the dude that owns most of the farmland in America. That's the dude that's pushing this weird fake synthetic food. That's the dude that talked about putting the medicine for the sickness that made everyone stay inside their homes for a long time, putting that medicine inside the vegetables. He's talked a lot about it. He's on the board for the freaking United States Department of Population Control. You can't not see it. We're currently living in a psychological warfare attack on humans. From the elite to the middle class. They're trying to destroy the middle class, because the middle class are the ones that have the same mindset as the lower class, but the resources to act. If they get rid of the middle class, there's only the elite and there's the poor. Well, how could I win someone who has millions and millions of dollars? How could I really do anything to affect them? I got, you know, the little amount of money that I have compared to the possibility of how much I possibly could have. You know, it's not very much. I'm not any different than any other American that's just working their fucking ass off to survive in this country that doesn't give a shit about you. You know what I mean? So if I was at war with an elite, I wouldn't win. And that's what they're trying to get. They're trying to eliminate the middle class. I want to end on a positive note that tomorrow is a holiday that that everyone's going to celebrate. That doesn't really mean anything, you know? Huh? On Tuesday? On Tuesday, not tomorrow. Apologize. It's a lot of cannabis happening in my life. I forget sometimes. But we're going to be celebrating the holiday. I mean, a lot of people might say, "Oh, you're anti-American. You don't like this holiday. You don't like that holiday." It's because most of the holidays are all fucking bullshit. They don't fucking celebrate real shit. All the holidays are like weird fake metaphors for something that happened sometime in the past, and like all this weird ass shit. I mean, I don't know, but I mean, besides the plentiful resources in this geographic location where my avatar lives, how free really am I? You know, there's lots of stuff that I wish I could do that I can't do because of where I live. So am I really free? Does my government and my country really care about me? Have they shown that they care about anyone? You know, so like, why would I celebrate this evil, corrupt corporation? Fuck all that. Call me an American, whatever. I mean, I obviously I'm American. I mean, Americans aren't pussies, and so at least I'm sticking up for myself. You know what I mean? At least I'm saying what I believe. At least it's like, even if everyone in my reality, which is the case, thinks I'm a nut job, and then I think about all sorts of crazy stuff, and it's too much to talk to me sometimes, I still act and say the same things that I say every single day, day in and day out, because I'm not going to change whether I'm a lone wolf, really. There's some people that in the world that relate to me, sure, but in my reality, you believe a little bit of that, you believe a little bit of that. Well, I believe all of this stuff. Can you take all this stuff? Nobody can take all the stuff, you know. I feel bad for my lady, you know, because I just bombard her with all these crazy things, and I talk about them so much, and my charisma is so much. I think I've just brainwashed her to think it'd be as crazy as me, which in a way benefits me, but you know. So lastly, just want to thank everybody for showing up. It's 9:00. Remember, if you're going to draw one of my my logo, send it to trip_drip at iCloud. I appreciate y'all showing up. You know, sometimes I walk up in here and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I don't know what I'm going to say. And then when I start talking, all of this stuff just keeps coming up. And to be honest, I'm doing this for a purpose. I'm doing this to spread information. If I never, ever make anything out of this and I just continuously just talk, at least I mean, maybe one person in my shit sees it. Maybe it changes one person's life. So that's what I do it for. Not every one of my videos, not every one of my live streams, they're not going to apply to everybody. I encourage you to pick and choose. But I promise you, if you stick around and just show up periodically, you're gonna learn some shit that's not gonna do anything but better you. I'm not here to spread hate. I'm not here to really talk negatively about anybody. I'm not really like trying to spread drama. I'm not trying to do anything but just promote self-love for every human to understand that you are an all-powerful being of light and energy, and you can heal all, and you can have influence over the things you have in your life, and you have lots of power. You just have to learn how to unlock the power. That's really all I want is just let's just all be just chill. Let's all just be cool and have respect for each other, regardless of whatever that human is, whether it's a boy, girl, a girl, boy, a boy, girl, or they don't identify as a boy or a girl, or it's a person who identifies as a dog or whatever. Uh, but let's just accept everybody for who they are, unless you hurt women or children, and fuck your bitch ass. But uh, so if everybody can go ahead and just drop some 999s, maybe some mushroom emojis, maybe if you went ahead and just I talked about the drawing. Oh, that's not. I'm sorry that you until after this one. If you just honestly, if you just go into your little emoji thing and just pick an emoji that makes you think of me besides the mushroom, that would be super dope. But I want all of you to know I appreciate you. Some of y'all show up every week. Some of y'all show up frequently. Some of you show up regularly. But I appreciate every one of you. Have a great day. Peace.